Welcome to Make Your Money Matter. I'm your host, Barrett. Have you ever asked yourself if you know your money is fulfilling its primary purpose in your life? I think achieving financial confidence starts with answering two very important questions. I'm going to focus on that today on our show. But before we get started, make sure to smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. All right, let's get into it. So years ago, I had someone, a pastor, actually tell me something. It was probably the most comforting thing I'd ever heard. And he said, hey, when God put a calling on your life, or he found your purpose on your life, he'd already factored in your stupidity. Friends, I share that simply because for me, he realized that honestly, we're gonna be doing dumb things. We're gonna be doing dumb things with our money. We're gonna be doing dumb things in our life, okay? It just happens, all right? And I'm sharing it that way, and hopefully I didn't offend anybody, but it's okay. None of us are perfect. Now, obviously, money, right or wrong, is a big part of our lives. It's one of the reasons why I speak about this every week on our show and what I've done for nearly 2 decades as an advisor, because I know how important it is to so many people, because it's such a big part of our lives. And we have, if it is that way, we have a tendency to desire more of it. But why? The question today really is around how do we decide how much is enough? Years ago, I had a famous economist that we went to go see at a lecture. And it was very interesting because he brought up this notion. He asked the crowd, if you could have any rate of return, what would you desire? And we all started thinking, and some of us said 5%, some said 10%. He said, no, be aggressive. Say whatever number you want. So someone said like 1,000%. He goes, great. But guess what? It's not a number, it's a word. And he always said, no matter who you ask, if you were to say, no matter what, okay, you can have as much as you want, what would that number be? And the answer was a simple 4-letter word. It wasn't a number. It was the word more. It's a natural human tendency, friends. And what I find is that most people often use arbitrary account balances and rates of return to assess how much progress they have made. And I get that those things are important, but neither of those things, speaking honestly here, neither of those things actually indicates whether or not your money is fulfilling its primary purpose. Now, Brad, what is its primary purpose in the financial advising world? That's what I want to talk about today. The primary purpose of your money is to have income, to have steady flow of income for your life. We also know this as cash flow. That's money's primary purpose first and foremost, okay? For what you can do in your community, within your own world, for your family. That's what money's purpose is for you. Now, while having money is of course part of the equation, it's also maybe the wrong measurement, I think, for success. A lot of people with plenty of money, which I deal with all the time, still struggle with not feeling financially free or confident. And that's a problem. So I want to sum it up this way for our show, okay? Achieving financial confidence starts with answering these 2 questions. Number 1, how much actual income do you have coming in right now that you don't have to work to receive? Think about that. Now, we know this is passive income. I'm talking about actual dollars being deposited into your checking or brokerage account, for example, okay? The second question is, if you quit tomorrow, how much money would you need to cover all of your expenses? This includes your taxes and vacations and lifestyles and things like that. Friends, if you answer those 2 questions, you'll be able to achieve what I think many people want, which is financial confidence. Financial confidence is where a plan comes in, okay? Now, if you're like most people, there is a gap between how much income you are receiving now and how much you need. That, by the way, is why you work to fill the gap, right? That's what work comes in. Now, what happens when you get into retirement or your later years or becoming financially free at whatever age that may be, filling that gap is how you achieve financial confidence. So if you want to stop working, you actually need to figure out how to close this gap with other income. Maybe it's passive, maybe it's your investments. But let me end on this, okay? Prepare for your tomorrow self today. It's important to make sure that if you see a gap in your future, or even right now while you're working, save and invest for it now. That's what you're going for. You're not chasing a number, a rate of return per se. Yes, that's important, but don't look over your shoulder and see what little Johnny's doing next door and like, oh, I'm not having that kind of success. Stay in your lane, like I shared before, and focus on what you can control, all right? I hope you enjoyed that today. If you did, make sure to subscribe to our show so you don't miss a single episode. And always remember to make your money matter.